In the research that our group presented, we gathered important information to help us students in Southern Philippines Institute of Science and Technology to give awareness in our society, and we choose these topics to warn and guide one another how to avoid the situation of drug abuse.
Drug abuse. When you say drug abuse, what comes first to your mind? Is it bad right away? Does it have good effect on people? So let's find out what drug abuse really is. We will tackle the important information of a certain topic of drug abuse and the importance of it as students of space. We will discuss the various side effects and the reason why they are using it in the wrong way.
Drug abuse is disadvantage and can give negative effect to the person who is it, like depression, stress, and mental health to the people.
Kaya ginagamit ang droga kasi parang mas madali ang makita ng mga tao.
All I can say about drugs is a lot of changes when someone is affected. It may be change in behavior from normal, change in sleeping habits, change in eating habits, change in a way, change in hygiene, and also anything is change and anything that is abuse is illegal and should be prohibited.
Walang magandang may dudulot sa iyo ang pagdodroga. Kaya huwag mo nang subukan gumamit nito.
Para sa akin, ng drug abuse, ito yung nagiging epekto sa atin ng drugs. It means yung nakakasanayan na natin na gawin yung ganung bagay, nakakaadikan natin, pero dapat tayong maging control pagdating sa ganun. Meron naman sa ibang bansa kasi ang drugs nga minsan nakakagaling daw sa ibang bansa, pero na nasa Pilipinas tayo is illegal yung pagiging gamot sa ganun, di ba? In case na yung gamot nagiging inaadikan nga, pinagbebentahan, ginagawang perahan, kaya dapat nating itama yung sarili natin na huwag tayong tumunod sa ganung gawain na alam naman nating mali. Dapat kontrolin natin yung sarili natin. Ito yung nagiging epekto sa tao. Kumbaga, nakakaadika, nakakasanayan nila sa katawan nila yung ganun na gawain. Kumbaga, yung nasasanay sila na ganito gagawin ko ganitong oras. Kumbaga, nasasanay na yung katawan nila sa ganung gawain nila, and dapat nating kontrolin nito kasi masama ang nagiging epekto sa katawan natin. Meron naman nagiging gamot ng drug abuse sa katawan natin, pero kadalasan dahil nasa Pilipinas tayo ay nagiging sanhi ito ng sakit sa ulo, sakit sa utak natin, di ba? Yung masamang epekto talaga siya sa katawan natin as in. Then, kailangan natin kontrolin ito dahil ito yung nagiging way kung saan hindi natin alam kung ano bang papatunguhan ng buhay natin, kung saan ito patungo yung buhay natin, di ba? Dapat mas maging active tayo.
So sa topic natin na drug abuse, paano ba siya naging connected sa present time natin? Lalo na yung pandemic ngayon. Paano ba siya naging parte ng topic namin na drug abuse? So bigyan ko ng example. Ito totoo itong kwento, and nangyari ito sa kuya ko. Para ma-cite nyo rin kung paano ba naka-apekto yung present time natin, yung pandemya nga sa isang tao, paano humantong sa yun nga sinasabi nilang drug abuse. So ayun nga, way ba 2020 yung simula yung pandemic, share ko lang sa inyo yung kwento na para magkaroon din kayo ng idea. So ito yung parang ginawa ko na lang tong example. So way back 2020 nga, yung kuya ko na-stuck siya sa Valenzuela. So syempre hindi namin siya kasama, hindi niya kasama si mama, and yung papa niya, nabalitaan niya na nawala nga doon sa probinsya namin. So na-stuck siya ng ilang buwan doon. Siguro nag-depress yung kuya ko. Depress siya. Pero bago yan close kami ng kuya ko, kaming lahat ng mama ko, tsaka yung kuya ko, close kaming lahat. So nung nandun na nga siya sa Valenzuela, syempre, parang na-depress nga siya kasi nga ilang buwan na din siyang stuck doon na siya sa bahay ng nagtatrabahuan niya. And yung mga kasama niya, hindi rin naging magandang impluwensya sa kanya. Kaya doon niya nakwento sa amin na doon siya nagsimula gumamit ng masamang drugs, gano'n. So, nung una daw, okay lang daw sa kanya. Pero kalaunan, parang parang naging addict na siya. Doon pumasok yung pag-abuse niya ng drugs sa katawan niya para maibsan ng kalungkutan nararamdaman niya. Kasi siguro nga, na-depress yung kuya namin. Na-depress yung kuya namin sa nangyari ngayon. So, para sa kanya, mahirap yung sitwasyon na yun. Hanggang sa hindi na siya makaalis sa addiction ng drugs na ginagamit niya. So, nung makabalik siya sa amin noong January 2021, taka kami kasi bakit parang ang layo ng niya sa amin. Ang layo na, yung parang niya sa amin, sa akin, sa mama namin. Yun nga pala, yun yung naging epekto ng pag-abuse niya sa drugs, na nasobrahan na siya. Naging negatibo na yung pag-iisip niya, negatibo na yung mga nakapaligid sa kanya. Hindi na talaga naging maganda yung epekto sa kanya nun, sabayan pa ng depression niya. So, kalaunan nun, nahirapan din kami bilang kapatid niya namin. Pero pamilya namin yun Yung nangyari. Tapos, nawa namin, pinarehab muna ng ilang buwan. Ayun, nitong buwan lang, pinauwi na siya sa probinsya. At doon na siya muna para maglaylo na din. So, bakit ko ito kwento is gusto ko lang ma-share sa inyo na bakit ba yung tao na bakit ba nila ina-abuse yung drugs. Kasi siguro minsan may mga problema sila na hindi nila alam kung ano yung magiging magiging sandalan nila, magiging siguro taga-comfort sa kanila. So yung naging ng kuya ko, yun nga, na-depress na siya doon dahil sa pagka-stuck niya doon. Naging sandalan niya sa problema niya, sa kalungkutan niya, sa lahat, is yung drugs. Kaya sobrang na-abuse na yung drugs niya sa point na naging masama na talaga yung epekto sa kanya. So, sinasabi ko rin dito sa kwento ko na huwag tayong maghusga kaagad kasi nga hindi naman natin alam kung anong rason na bakit nila ginawa yun, bakit sila nag-drugs, ba't nila in-abuse yung ganung mga bagay. So, dapat talaga alamin muna natin kung anong rason nila, and dapat tulungan din natin sila kasi hindi natin alam kung anong pinaproblema nila, anong pinagdadaanan nila sa buhay. Huwag natin husgahan kaagad ang isang tao patay sa kung anong nakikita lang muna natin.
So, as the students, we will going to tackle about on how to prevent the drug usage and also what would be our recommendations on how to avoid the drugs. So, first is there are many ways to prevent the increased rate of drugs usage. And the first one is the educational talks. Educational talks, this come done where school having external guests to speak to the students about saying no to drugs campaign. This way, citizens are become well educated and more aware on the drugs they dealing with, which prevents them from using the drugs. And the second is the family members. Parents are so-called the role models of the family. So they should set an example to their children and teaching them the right ways. And number 3 is the peer pressure. So it's another factor that increases the rate of drugs usage, especially teenagers as they are easily influenced. So what I recommend is that whenever we see friends or classmates who has these drugs in their hand, they should tell the teacher immediately. We should tell them to stop and talk about it. And then the fourth is the attending support groups. So I do believe that there are anti-drug support groups which allow people who are currently handling with drugs to attend. So this way, they can share their problems to the volunteers or counselors. And instead of dealing with drugs, they might find an alternative way to handle their stress or pressure. And number 5 is another recommendation would be reaching out to the people who needs help in releasing their emotions, because this would help them to let all their feelings out, making them feel better. Some reasons for them to feel depressed would be financial difficulties, losing their loved ones, and also divorce. And I believe that instead of us standing around and doing nothing, we should lend an extra helping hand to them. This way, we can also prevent drug usage. Thank you.
As student, how can you contribute in government and society to solve this problem regarding in drug abuse? For me, I can help or contribute by implementing the rules and guidelines on the uses of drugs so that we can help the society to prevent the improper usage of drugs that can be risky in the health of the user. This is some of the guidelines that I made. Number 1 is talk to them about the consequence of using drugs. Number 2 is tell them that there is many ways to solve problems. Usually, some of the user of drugs are problematic. They think that using drugs can solve their problem. Therefore, we need to guide and enlighten their minds that using drugs can cause harm in our mental health. Drug rehab is another way to help those struggle with addiction is through education. Family open is also one way to regain another family member's mental breakdowns such as depression and anxiety attacks. Number 4 is avoid temptation or peer pressure. Develop healthy friendships and relationships by avoiding friends or family members who pressure you to use substance like drugs.
So as a student of SPIST, siguro matutulong ko lang po is unang-una is hindi muna sila i-judge agad sa ginawa nila, especially dun sa drug abuse nga na topic na binigay natin. And then po, instead na judge sila, siguro tulungan muna natin and alamin kung bakit nila nagawa yung ganong bagay sa kanilang sarili. Kasi malamang sa malamang ay may mga dahilan sila bakit ginawa nila yung ganong
Tulungan na lang natin sila para magbago.
Impluwensyahan sila sa mabuting pamamaraan.
Bigyan na lang sila natin ng kaalaman at kung ano magiging kahinatnan.
Don't do it. Mapapaaga ang iyong buhay. Let's face the reality how life is important.
Huwag mo sirain ang buhay mo. May halaga ka pa sa pamilya mo.
Bilang SPI student ay dapat tayong maging magandang halimbawa sa mga kabataan ngayon at lalo na pandemya, dapat tayong maging educated person, di ba? Para alam natin yung tama at mali sa ginagawa natin, hindi tayo nagpapa-apekto sa mga paligid natin, yung mga nakikita natin. Dapat tayong maging mas kampante na tayo ay educated person. It means hindi tayo pumupunta sa maling way, di ba? Kaya dapat tayo maging motivation sa ibang bata, sa mga ibang tao na dapat alam din nila yung tama at mali, di ba? Para hindi tayo lumalaganap sa bansa na panay crime, panay drugs, di ba? Maiwasan natin mga illegal drugs sa bansa natin para alam nila yung mga ginagawa nila, yung alam nila na mali ito, dapat hindi nila tinutularan yung mga ganong way, di ba? Yun lang. Drug abuse is rampant today. This drug addiction have many lives been ruined, not only the user but the people around it. Friends, family, and relationships are also affected. So as peace, we are one of the people who will help to prevent this problem. Always remember that there is other way to solve problem. Don't judge, help people to prevent this, and don't take drugs.
So bilang
What will come to your mind?
o yun nga, ano bang naisip mo pag sinabing drug abuse?
Kahit ano, mga one.
Kahit mga kung 1
Title.
minute o 30. Bilisan mo doon na kayo mag
Tinutukoy mo na naman si tayo.
Alagay mo sa ulen, no?
All I can say about drugs is ulit.
Game na. No.
All I can say about drugs is maybe wait.
We'll discuss the value side effects of
And action.
Hello. Wait lang mga
Wag mo subukan.
Action.
we will tackle the importance of having. Wait lang.
Wait lang, game na ba?
Atik na, wala nang tulog-tulog.
Try nga natin pag ganito yung...
Gestures ka ng parang ano. Mag-gestures ka na parang reporter. Ayun.
Okay na? Huwag mong sirain ang buhay mo. May halaga ka pa sa pamilya mo. Okay yun.
important.
Tsaka ako.
I make some guidelines. I made some guidelines to. This is the some.
I do believe that there are anti-drug support groups. There are a lot of anti-drug support groups.
No mo. Okay.
Ay, dito ba ako?
Labas ka dito pag ano. Okay.
Okay. Tapos pag ganon. Ganon.
Ah.
Ay, ta. Ay, ta.
So,